I'm the sports director of WJCU Sports, and today I'm going to show you how to set up the kit. Again, this is how you, we have a broadcasting kit here. We call it Bertha. The H is missing, as well as the C from there, but this is how we broadcast games. The kit is what allows us to put broadcasts over the air. There's a phone line included in it. There's a mixing board, as well as what's called a zip. And a zip is basically a system that allows you to broadcast games from a remote location when you don't have a hardline connection. We have two hardline connections. We have one at Don Shula Stadium, which is used for football and baseball games, and one at the Tony DeCarlo Varsity Center, which we use for both men's and women's basketball games. So what I'll be instructing you to do today is twofold. I'll be showing you how to set the kit when you have a hard line, so when you have home games, and number two, when you have an away game. So these are the three biggest tools you have at your disposal. You have a nice box here with the headsets included. You have the laptop bag, and then the kit. So the first thing you do when you show up to a game is you want to undo the latches on the kit. And all you have to do is simply unlatch to the left, unlatch to this side, and as you can see, you have the front part of the kit. Now I'll show you the back part of the kit. Very easy to do. As you can see here, it just comes undone nice and easily by undoing both of these guys. And just like that, you have the back of the kit. So the first thing you're going to want to do, especially with the home game, is you have a bunch of cords here. You have a phone line, which allows you to connect to the hard line at home and do a phone line on the road. And you also have a power strip and extension cord, which is stuck in here nice and neatly. As you can see, lots of cords and whatnot included in this kit. Also, something else in the back of the kit is the crowd mic. Now, the crowd mic allows us to hear all the crowd noises during the game. We'll use this in a little bit. The first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and plug in the power strip. A power strip goes simply easily into the wall, nothing to it. The next thing we want to do is go ahead and plug in the kit into the power strip, or directly into the wall if you prefer. Okay. So now, as you will be able to see here in a moment, the kit is beginning to turn on. Okay, and as you can see here on the front of the kit, we have a phone. Now, the next portion of our demonstration will be show how to get the phone line connected, because the phone is how we communicate with the studio. So what you're going to do to connect the phone line, let me briefly turn on the kit, is you're going to need a gray, or you can use this white phone cord to connect. Now, what you're going to want to do is go into this fun box of tricks and grab a simple phone cord. And as you can see, we have a bunch of gray phone cords, whichever cord you prefer, as long as it has two prong ends here with the prong still attached, because that is what allows you to snap it into the phone outlet. Now, once I finish struggling with these cords, we will go ahead and plug one end into the kit and one end into the phone jack in the wall. So the phone cord will go into this little spot here where it says line, and it might be a little tough for you to see that, but it goes all the way to the right hand side into that little part, and it snaps in just like so. You heard that? It snaps in just like that. Now, what you're going to want to do is find the phone jack in the wall. Now, this is an example of a phone jack. It snaps in just like so. Snaps into the wall, nice and fine. Now, the second part that you're going to want to do is the internet aspect. Now, as I said, there are two different types of setting up for the internet. Number one, there's a hardline connection that we use for home games. And number two, there is a zip connection, which we use for away games. Now, if we were doing a home game, we would use this white wire, or any gray wire if you prefer. This white wire is just nice and long. And what we'll do is we'll plug one end into the small box inside the kit, which is again a little tough to see, but it's called the broadcast line dry pair. And you'll snap it into place just like so. You can hear that little snap there. So it plugs in right to there. And then what you'll do is you'll plug it into the hardline connection in either Don Shula Stadium or in the DeCarlo Varsity Center. Now, it's going to look very, very close to this here, this jack in the wall. Except with the DeCarlo Varsity Center, it will be in the floor, and at the DeCarlo Varsity Center, it will be in the small tan WJCU box, all the way to the right-hand side of Don Shula Stadium. And you see this end right there. Let's assume that we have this is the hardline connection. It snaps into place, just like so. Now, that is how you do the hardline connection. And from there, what you'll do is you'll call into the studio using the number, and I will put this as well in the book, 216-397-6855 if you want to be connected to the hotline that is available in the on-air studio. If you're doing WJCU2, and it's an online-only broadcast, the number to dial is 216-397-4422. Now we come to the part that is a little more complicated, which is a road broadcast. How do you broadcast if you're on the road? Well, on the road you don't have a hardline connection. Now the hardline connection is very reliable. It's a simple connection between all it is a simple wire running from the studio all the way to either Don Shula Stadium or the DeCarlo Varsity Center. Now that makes it a little more difficult on the road because you need to have some sort of internet connection to be able to broadcast. So in our case, what we do is we use what's called a 4G Verizon card, also known as a mini hotspot. Now this guy is, again, what we use to connect to the internet. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to turn this on. Now this can be a little bit tricky, as 4G cards often are. What you want to do is you want to hit this little gray power button there to start up the device. Now again, this gray power button is not always easy to turn on. Sometimes it needs to be charged, as it is the previous broadcaster might have left it uncharged. So go ahead and plug it in there, and you want to make sure that you have the gray button depressed there and try and push that in. But again, sometimes it is a little bit more difficult to work with. But let's just assume that this is on. Okay. The next step you want to take is you want to go to your computer bag. Now your computer bag will have your laptop as well as the charger. The laptop comes on just like so. You open it up, and by now you might have a new laptop. This is relatively new. Just like any regular Dell laptop, there's a power button at the top right-hand side. You simply push that button, and the laptop will come on. And we also want to make sure to do as well is to plug in the charger into your power strip, as without the power cord, the battery could die without you knowing in the middle of a broadcast, and thus you would lose the connection to the internet. Okay, so you're going to plug that in as well. Now, the next step, what you need to do next is to connect the kit to the laptop once the computer turns on. Now, basically how this works is that the internet comes in through the 4G card. And the 4G card is connected to the laptop. Then the laptop's internet is thus connected to the kit. Now, the connection from the laptop to the kit is accomplished by these two wires. There's a white cord that comes in straight directly from down here at the bottom from this LAN connection right there. That is where it connects to the zip. And then from the black USB cord, which connects the kit to the laptop. And as you can see, the computer, of course, wants to do some updates. But in the meantime, you want to plug in the white cord into the Ethernet jack, just like so. See here, a little snap. And then the black cord will simply go into the USB outlet right there. Okay? So that's how we do that. And we will connect to the internet in just one moment. But while this is set up, what we can do is we can learn more about how to connect your headsets. Now, we're going to turn on the kit here really briefly with all these wires, which can be a little bit tricky. Again, this does make it a little bit difficult when you're on the road because you don't always have a lot of space. So it's one good thing to practice with the kit in the studio as we are now, so that when you're on the road, you are more comfortable with it. So let's turn around the kit here just like so. Okay. Now, what we want to do is we have 2 headsets in the bag, and oftentimes it's a very good thing if you have more than 2 headsets that you're prepared in case one is to die. Although they are both new headsets at this current time. Now, each headset has 3 main components. Two components here are what is going to allow you to plug audio into the mixer, and what's going to allow you to get audio back into your headphones. This is the jack that is going to allow you to have headset hearing in the headset, and this little bad boy right here will allow you to get audio from your microphone into the kit. Now, this portion of it right here, it's a little bit tangled unfortunately right now. This portion simply plugs in to the corresponding channel that you like. I always plug the play-by-play broadcaster's headset into mic 1. As you can see, this pulls out a little bit more, but unfortunately not too much. So plug in this part of it first. You see it has a little arrow. Plug that part of it in the front, and that should snap in nicely. Okay. Now the headset portion of it allows you to hear. Plug in this audio jack right there. Okay. Now you would do the same for the second headset again, just by doing the same. Again, this part will go in with the arrow facing forward into the mic 2 outlet. It can be a little bit tricky. It can be a little tricky sometimes when you can't see as well. And then you also want to plug that in right just like so. Now, there are a couple of different controls you have for when you put the headset on. Okay, so the headset will always be compressed just like this. You're going to need to put it on and stretch it out a little bit, but be very careful. Pull down to get the headset over your ears. And as you can see here, you want to position the microphone somewhat close to your face, but not too far away, as you don't want to be too close because then it'll pick up every little breath you have. But if you have it too far away, it won't be able to pick up enough. Okay, so that's how you control that. And a couple different controls on the board as well. The first part of it is, if you want to be able to hear yourself louder, you need to use this knob right here, and that will allow you to have greater hearing in the headset. Now, if you want to turn up your volume, to make the volume of your voice louder for the broadcast, you can use this white knob right there, and that allows you to be louder or softer. And we typically use a clock system, so this would be 12 o'clock, 11, 10, 9, and so forth. We communicate that way from the producer to the broadcaster. And as you can see it over here, we have an overall knob for both of the broadcasters and the headsets. So if we want both broadcasters to be able to hear louder, we turn that up. And the stereo knob is the same thing, except, again, as I said, for the levels. If the broadcast is too quiet, you want to turn it up to the right. If it's too soft, you turn it down to the left. So those are the main control knobs. The only other one you might have to use is the yellow knob right here. And this is what's called the gain. Now, this allows you to boost it if your voice is super quiet and the knob is turned all the way up. Or you can bring it down if you're coming in too powerfully. So those are the 2 main things. Now, besides that, let's go ahead and do the phone line part of it. So, say you want to go ahead and call into your studio. Again, as I said, the number to call in for the on-air studio for WJCU is going to be 91216-397-6855. Now, assume I'm talking to the producer and I say, okay, let's go ahead and make it so that I can hear you over the headset. Now, how are you going to hear the producer over the headset as you are talking the broadcast? Well, that's nice and simple. All you have to do is click the on telephone line, hang up the phone, put on your headset, and you will be able to hear the producer in your ears. And that is nice and simple. Okay? So that's how to connect on the phone line side of things. Now, let's go back to connecting with the WJCU zip. Let's turn on the computer here so you can see it. As you can see, there's a login here that says WJCU Sports. Now, the password is nice and simple. If I type that right, WJCU, and that should work nice and easily, just like so. Okay. Now, and this will not work properly since there's no data on here at this current time, but what you'll want to do is you'll want to connect to the Verizon MiFi card, which for whatever reason is not popping up, but the Verizon MiFi card will pop up right there, and it should pop up automatically. But if you need help finding it, there should be a little instruction thing in the kit here that has a complete list of all the Verizon information, and I will hold it nice and close to the camera so you can see it as well, just in case you ever lose it. So that is how you see the Verizon info in case you ever need to connect manually to the Verizon MiFi. That's all the information there. So, again, to recap, and I will also go over the crowd microphone really quickly. It works very similarly to the other microphones, except you only have one, since you don't need to hear the crowd mic, or I said that the crowd mic is not connected to a person, so the person doesn't need to hear it. Okay. So same concept. That little arrow right there is pointing down. That is, you want to put that towards the front and plug that into channel 3. And I'm going to plug it in right there. And now what you would do is you would take the crowd mic to wherever the crowd was. So for example, if you're in the Ginley Stadium press box, simply hang above the window. Or if you're in the varsity center, string it down the table and put it right about at mid-court so that you pick up all the ambient sounds. So just to recap, again, the main parts of the kit that are important. The headsets, again, go in just like so. You have the phone line connection, which you can dial right there. And then you have the laptop, which is used for away broadcasts, as well as the Verizon MiFi card. And the black USB plugs into there. The white plugs into there. Again, to recap the internet part of it, when you're doing a road broadcast, the internet comes in through the 4G card. The 4G card, you connect with the laptop as such right there. It should say Verizon MiFi. You'll hit connect. And then the computer connects to the kit with this white and the black. And then on the top here, you'll see the zip. And to connect to the zip, hit auto. And then you'll click in the WJCU zip STA. And if it's working, you will have a fully lit connect, a LAN, and a fully lit zip. So all those buttons should be lit. If not, I will do also a video about what can go wrong and how to avoid those. But if something goes wrong, make sure to call your station engineer and also let your producer know. So again, this has been a production of WJCU Sports. My name is Joe Ginley. I want to thank you for viewing this leadership video and how to put together the kit. And please check out the other videos on the site. And thank you so much for watching.